All is well, even now, even in this moment where your heart feels uncertain, where your mind keeps searching for answers, where you quietly wonder if you are truly safe in this vast, unpredictable world. Take a breath with me, slowly, gently, and let it out. I want you to pause right here, my dear, not to fix anything, not to figure anything out, but simply to be. Because in this very moment, beneath the noise, beneath the tension, beneath the stories your mind keeps repeating, there is a quiet truth waiting for you. You are safe. Not because everything around you is perfect, not because life has given you all the answers you seek, but because there is something deeper, something steady, something unshakable holding you, even now. Let me ask you something. How long have you been carrying the weight of needing to control everything? How long have you been trying to predict, to prepare, to protect yourself from every possible outcome? It's exhausting, isn't it? That constant inner tension, that subtle feeling that if you just think a little harder, plan a little better, worry a little more, then maybe, just maybe, you'll finally feel at peace. But what if peace was never meant to come from control? What if the very thing you've been holding on to so tightly is the same thing keeping you from feeling safe? Take another breath, slowly. You see, my dear, the universe, life itself, is not something you were ever meant to fight against. It is not something you must outsmart or outmaneuver. It is something you are held within. Like a child resting in the arms of something greater, like a leaf carried effortlessly by the wind, you are already supported in ways your mind cannot fully understand. And yet, somewhere along the way, you learn to doubt that. Maybe life surprised you in painful ways. Maybe things didn't go as planned. Maybe doors closed when you thought they would open. And slowly, quietly, you began to believe that you had to protect yourself, that you had to stay alert, that you couldn't fully relax. I understand that, truly. But I want to offer you a gentle truth, not to force you, not to rush you, but simply to place it softly in your heart. Just because something didn't happen the way you expected doesn't mean life is against you. Just because you don't see the full picture doesn't mean there isn't a beautiful unfolding taking place. Sometimes what feels like chaos is actually quiet rearrangement. Sometimes what feels like delay is perfect timing preparing you. Sometimes what feels like uncertainty is simply space, space for something new to enter. Can you feel that shift, even slightly? You don't have to understand everything to be safe. You don't have to have all the answers to relax. You don't have to control the future to be okay. Take a breath, let that settle, because safety, real safety, doesn't come from knowing exactly what will happen next. It comes from trusting that whatever happens, you will be held through it. And that is a very different way of living, isn't it? It's softer, gentler, quieter. It doesn't demand that you grip life tightly. It invites you to open your hands, to loosen your shoulders, to unclench your heart. And I know that might feel unfamiliar. Your mind might whisper, but what if something goes wrong? Your body might still carry that old tension, that old alertness, that habit of bracing for impact. That's okay. You don't need to force yourself to suddenly trust everything. You simply begin, right here, with one small shift. Instead of asking, what if everything goes wrong? What if, just for a moment, you asked, What if everything is quietly working out, even now? Feel the difference in that question. One tightens you, the other softens you. One closes your body, the other opens it. And your body, my dear, is always listening. It responds not just to what is happening around you, but to the meaning you give it. So if you keep telling yourself that life is dangerous, that you are alone, that you must constantly guard yourself, your body will stay in that state of tension. But if, gently, slowly, you begin to whisper a new truth, I am safe, all is well, I am held even when I don't understand, something begins to shift, not all at once, not dramatically, but quietly, like a knot slowly loosening, like a breath finally deepening, like a heart remembering what it feels like to rest. And this is where something beautiful happens, because when you stop living in constant resistance, when you stop bracing against life, you begin to notice things you couldn't see before. Small moments of ease, unexpected support, little signs that you are not alone in this journey. It's as if life begins to meet you differently, not because it suddenly changed, but because you did. You see, the way you feel inside shapes the way you experience everything outside. If you move through life believing you are unsafe, you will see proof of that everywhere. But if you begin even just a little to feel that you are supported, that something is guiding you, that you don't have to do this all alone, you start to notice a different reality, a softer one, a kinder one, a more forgiving one. Take a moment. Place your hand on your chest if you can. Feel your heartbeat, that steady rhythm, that quiet intelligence within you, keeping you alive without you needing to control it. Isn't that already proof that something is taking care of you? You don't manage every breath. You don't command your heart to beat. You don't consciously orchestrate the thousands of processes happening inside your body right now. And yet, it all continues effortlessly. So what if that same intelligence, that same quiet support is also present in your life beyond what you can see? What if you are being guided even when it doesn't feel like it? What if things are unfolding even when it seems slow? What if you are safe even when your mind tries to convince you otherwise? Take a breath and let that possibility exist. You don't have to fully believe it yet. You just have to be willing to consider it. Because the moment you allow even a small opening, even a tiny space for trust, something begins to change inside you. And that change is where peace begins. Not in the future, not when everything is perfect, but right here, in this moment, where you choose to soften instead of tighten, to trust instead of fear, to breathe instead of brace. And I want you to know something, my dear. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are not doing life wrong. You are simply in a moment, a chapter, a space where things are still unfolding. Just like a seed beneath the soil, it may look like nothing is happening, but beneath the surface, something extraordinary is quietly growing. Roots are forming, strength is building, life is preparing. And if that seed could think, it might worry. It might wonder why it hasn't broken through yet. It might feel stuck in the darkness. But the darkness is not punishment. It is preparation. And so is this moment in your life. Take a deep breath, slowly. You are allowed to rest here. You are allowed to not have all the answers. You are allowed to trust, even a little. because all is well, even now, and you, my dear, are safe in this universe. Let that settle into you gently, softly, without force. This idea of safety, of peace, of trusting life, it isn't something you find outside of you. It's something you remember because, my dear, there was a time when you didn't question whether you were safe, a time when you weren't constantly scanning the future, trying to predict what might go wrong, a time when you simply existed, open, present, at ease. And then life happened. Experiences shaped you, moments taught you, people influenced the way you saw the world, and slowly, quietly, you began to build an identity around protection. I have to be careful. I have to be prepared. I have to make sure things don't fall apart. And without even realizing it, safety became something you tried to earn instead of something you already are. Can you feel how heavy that is? To live as if peace is conditional, as if you can only relax when everything is finally in place, when every answer is known, when nothing uncertain remains. But life doesn't work that way, does it? There will always be something unknown. There will always be moments that don't go exactly as planned. There will always be change. So, if your peace depends on controlling all of that, then peace will always feel just out of reach. But what if peace was never meant to depend on circumstances? What if peace is something you bring into your circumstances? Take a breath. Let that question sit with you, because this is where everything begins to shift. You see, my dear, the experience of your life is not just shaped by what happens to you, but by who you are being while it happens. Two people can walk through the same situation. One feels anxious, overwhelmed, unsafe. The other feels grounded, open, trusting. The difference isn't the situation. It's the state of being. And this is such a powerful realization because it gently brings your focus back to the only place where true change can happen, within you. Not by forcing, not by fixing, but by becoming aware. Let me ask you something right now, in this very moment, without thinking about yesterday, without projecting into tomorrow. Are you safe? Not in the imagined future, not in the stories your mind tells, but right here, in this breath, in this space. Are you okay? Feel into that, because most of the time, the answer is yes. And yet, your mind doesn't live here. It drifts. It anticipates. It replays. It tries to protect you by keeping you alert. But in doing so, it pulls you out of the only place where peace actually exists, the present moment. So gently, without judgment, without frustration, you begin to return. Again and again and again. Not because you have to get it perfect, but because this is where your safety lives, right here. Take a slow breath in and out. Feel your body where you are, the subtle sensations, the quiet presence beneath everything else. And notice that even if your thoughts are busy, even if emotions are moving through you, there is still a deeper part of you that remains untouched. Calm, steady, aware. That part of you is always safe. And the more you begin to rest your attention there, the less power fear begins to have over you. Not because fear disappears, but because you are no longer lost inside it. You begin to witness it instead of becoming it. You begin to feel it without letting it define you. And this, my dear, is the beginning of real freedom, because you stop asking, how do I eliminate all uncertainty? And you start asking, how can I remain grounded, even in uncertainty? Can you feel the difference? One is a battle, the other is a return, and life responds very differently to those two energies. When you are constantly chasing safety, trying to secure it through outcomes, through control, through external conditions, you remain in a state of tension. But when you begin to embody safety, when you allow yourself to feel it from within, even gently, even imperfectly, life begins to mirror that back to you. Situations soften, decisions become clearer, opportunities feel more aligned, not because you forced them, but because you are no longer pushing against the natural flow. It's like trying to swim upstream your whole life, exhausting yourself, fighting the current. And then one day, you simply turn around and let the water carry you. That doesn't mean you stop moving. It means you stop resisting. And there is such a profound difference between those two. Take a breath and let your shoulders drop just a little more, because right now, you don't need to push. You don't need to figure everything out. You don't need to rush into the future to feel okay. You can choose, right here, to soften into this moment. And I know part of you might still hesitate. Part of you might say, if I relax too much, won't I lose control? Won't things fall apart? That fear is understandable. But let me gently remind you, you were never truly in control of everything to begin with. And yet, life has continued. Your heart has continued beating. Your breath has continued flowing. Moments have come and gone, and somehow you are still here. There is a quiet intelligence guiding this life, something far greater than the limited perspective of the mind. And trusting that, even just a little, doesn't make you passive. It makes you aligned. It allows you to move through life with a different energy, not from fear, but from calm awareness. And from that place, your actions become clearer. Your decisions become softer, yet stronger. You stop reacting and begin responding. You stop forcing and begin allowing. And slowly, gently, your life begins to feel different. Not because everything suddenly changes overnight, but because you do. And that is where your true power lies. Not in controlling life, but in choosing how you meet it. So right now, in this moment, I want to offer you something simple. Nothing complicated, nothing overwhelming, just a gentle practice. Close your eyes if you can, or soften your gaze. Take a slow breath in through your nose and exhale softly through your mouth. And as you breathe, quietly say to yourself, I am safe in this moment. Again, slowly, I am safe, right here. Let the words land, not just in your mind, but in your body. Feel them, allow them. And if your mind resists, if it questions, if it brings up reasons why that might not be true, that's okay. You don't need to argue with it. You simply return to the breath, to the words, to the feeling, I am safe. Over and over, gently, patiently, because you are not trying to convince yourself, you are reminding yourself, and the more you do this, the more familiar this feeling becomes. The more natural it feels to soften instead of tense, to trust instead of fear, to be instead of constantly striving. And this is how peace is built, not in one big moment, but in many small, quiet returns, again and again and again. So take one more breath with me and know deeply, softly, truly, you are allowed to feel safe. You are allowed to relax. You are allowed to trust life, even as it unfolds in ways you don't yet understand. Because all is well, even now. And you, my dear, are learning how to live from that truth, one gentle breath at a time. Because sometimes, my dear, it's not life that makes us feel unsafe. It's the meaning we've learned to attach to it. Take a slow breath and just listen. There are subtle patterns within you, quiet beliefs, soft whispers in the background of your mind that say things like, I have to be careful. I have to expect the worst. I can't fully relax yet. And these beliefs didn't come from nowhere. They were learned, absorbed, repeated over time until they began to feel like truth. But what if they were never your truth to begin with? What if they were simply echoes of past moments, past fears, past versions of you, trying to protect you in the only way they knew how? You see, the mind is not your enemy. It is a protector. But sometimes it protects you from things that are no longer happening. It keeps you braced, alert, slightly tense, even when there is no immediate danger. And so you live in a quiet state of almost safe, never fully relaxed, never fully at ease. Can you feel that? That subtle holding, that slight tightness, that background hum of needing to stay ready? Now, I want you to gently bring awareness to your body again. Your shoulders, your chest, your stomach. Notice if there is any place that feels like it's holding on just a little too tightly. And without forcing, without trying to change anything, just breathe into that space. Softly, slowly. Because this is where true safety begins to return. Not in your thoughts, but in your body. Your body has been carrying stories your mind has long forgotten. Stories of moments where things felt uncertain, where you had to adapt, where you learned to stay alert. And those patterns, they don't disappear just because time has passed. They stay until they are gently released. And release doesn't happen through force. It happens through awareness, through softness, through allowing. So right now, you don't need to fix anything. You don't need to heal everything all at once. You simply begin by noticing, by breathing, by giving your body permission to feel something different. Let me ask you something, my dear. What would it feel like to no longer be on guard all the time? What would it feel like to wake up and not immediately search for what might go wrong? What would it feel like to trust, not because you have proof, but because you choose peace? Stay with that question, because often there is a hidden fear beneath the surface, a quiet resistance that says, if I relax, I might get hurt again. If I trust, I might be disappointed. If I let go, things might fall apart. And that fear is so human, so understandable. But I want to gently show you something. Holding on, staying tense, expecting the worst, has it truly protected you? Or has it simply kept you from fully experiencing peace? Take a breath, because this is not about blaming yourself. It's about recognizing that the strategies you once needed may no longer serve you now. You are not the same person you were before. You have grown, learned, expanded in ways you may not even fully see yet. And yet, your body may still be living in an old story. So now, you are being invited into something new, a new way of relating to life, not through fear, but through trust, not through tension, but through softness, not through constant anticipation, but through presence. And this shift, my dear, is not something you force overnight. It is something you practice gently, consistently, with compassion. So let me offer you something simple, something you can carry with you beyond this moment. Whenever you notice yourself tightening, worrying, bracing, pause. Just pause. Take a breath and ask yourself softly, am I safe right now, in this moment? And then listen, not to the loud voice of the mind, but to the quiet response of your body. Because most of the time, you will feel it. A subtle yes, a quiet grounding, a gentle reminder that right now, you are okay. And that is enough. You don't need to solve tomorrow in this moment. You don't need to prepare for every possible outcome. You only need to return to now, again and again and again. And as you do this, something begins to change. The nervous system softens, the breath deepens, the mind quiets, and life begins to feel a little less overwhelming, a little more spacious, a little more kind. Now, I want to gently guide you into a few words, simple, soft, but deeply powerful. You don't need to repeat them out loud. Just let them move through you like a whisper, like a gentle current. All is well. Even now, even here, I am safe. In this moment, I am supported. Even when I cannot see how, life is not against me. It is unfolding for me. I release the need to control everything. I allow myself to soften. I trust. Little by little, take a breath. Let those words settle, not as something you have to believe perfectly, but as something you are allowing to grow within you. Because trust is not a switch, it is a seed. And every time you choose to soften, every time you return to the present, every time you remind yourself that you are safe, you water that seed. You nurture it. And over time, it becomes stronger than the old patterns of fear, stronger than the habit of tension, stronger than the belief that you must always be on guard. And one day, without even realizing exactly when it happened, you will notice that you feel different, that you move through life with more ease, that you are no longer constantly bracing for something to go wrong, that you can sit in uncertainty and still feel okay. And that, my dear, is true freedom. Not a life without challenges, but a life where challenges no longer steal your peace. So as we come gently to the end of this moment together, I want you to take one more slow, deep breath and just feel yourself here, alive, present, held by something greater than your thoughts. You don't have to rush. You don't have to figure everything out today. You don't have to carry the weight of the entire future. All you need is this moment. And in this moment, all is well. You are safe. You are supported. And you are allowed to relax into that truth more and more with every breath you take. Stay soft, my dear. Life is not something you have to fight. It is something you are learning to trust, to receive, and to rest within. And you are doing better than you think. even now, even here, exactly as you are.